we're gonna go over the absolute worst special assessment in a condo that I have heard of. I don't think there is a worse one. If you know of a worse condo situation than what I'm about to tell you, please comment below. What's the name of the complex and what city it's in Florida. This is so sad, and it's funny because I mentioned this condominium complex 2 videos ago when I was talking about some, unfortunate events that happened, but I didn't know the gravity that people are going through right now. This this building here has, I think, 220 units. That's it. But it has beautiful views on Biscayne Bay in South Florida. I believe it's in Miami. It's not even located on the beach. It's on the bay, and it's on like the mainland section. It's not on the very edge where all the hurricanes hit and the sand washes away. This condominium is called the Cricket Club. So warning, be careful, do not buy in the Cricket Club, unless you're looking for some serious deals. I'm telling you, I saw a deal in there, $250,000, but the story I'm about to get into is a sad one, because in 2022, a couple purchased a 7th floor condo unit in there. They bought it for $499,000, which, for having some water views, that's a pretty decent price. They didn't overpay. They didn't go crazy out of control. That's just how much condos go for, okay? Or I should say went for, because now they're a lot freaking cheaper. Their unit has incredible views, and then on top of that, they spent an additional $100,000 kind of making it their own, bringing it up to the standards that they want, because as you know, most homeowners, when they purchase a home, unless it's brand new, they're gonna go and change something and spend a little bit of money. Now, $100,000 in a condo, that's a lot, but you have a luxury condo. This is your Florida getaway, your Florida retirement life plan. Hey, do what you want, This is your life and you should live it all up. And before I get further into this story, I just want to say thank you for watching the videos. Please consider subscribing if you like these videos. Please considering a like, or if you have any questions, give me a comment. And actually, can you write a comment about a condo building that had large special assessments and tell me what is the special assessment amount and what is the name of the condo building and maybe what city as well. I would really appreciate that. But let's get back into this sad story. So this couple bought it for $500,000, put in another $100,000. And you know what happened? Not even 2 years later, a special assessment. And special assessments are happening right now because we have new law coming into effect. So the structural integrity of these buildings need to be brought up to the new law that got passed, in 2021 and 2022. And now they have all the expenses. And get this, the Cricket Club got whipped with a $175,000 special assessment. That is way too big, way too big. Okay, there's no reason for it to be that huge. Somebody is making some serious coin, and this is how people are getting ripped off out here. Not only are these special assessments probably a little excessive, a little more than they should be, but then who's making all that money? Like that contractor, right, who's doing the repairs, how much money are they profiting? Are they going to profit, like 35%? Because contractors are taking the liability, sure. They have the manpower. Look, I'm not saying contractors shouldn't make any money. They definitely should make some money. But if that condo association is $175,000 and 30% is pure profit, start doing the numbers, what the actual expense is. And is there a way for maybe the government to get involved and get their hands in on doing a zero profit repair? Is that possible? Because people are getting absolutely screwed. I don't know, with all the credit card defaults happening. That's your revolving credit. These are at sky high rates right now. How many people are defaulting? I forget the numbers, but we had a crazy amount of money added to the credit card default rates and how much banks are going to lose. Not that anyone cares about banks losing money, because they're profiting no matter how much they lose, right? And then people are defaulting on auto loans. We are in a bubble with auto loans. This is such a horrible situation that the car dealers, that was the dealer's dealer's fault, okay? If you're a car dealer, shame on you, okay? You should really start looking in the mirror because you did people dirty. And the default rates are now showing up, and people are seeing that, hey, when you had a $60,000 car and you upcharged it as a service fee for an additional $25,000, people are not going to keep paying on those loans. But you got paid because it's a bank, somebody else, that went and funded that loan, and that bank is the one that's going to lose the money. And then the car owner is going to have a lower credit score, and you're just walking to your mansion. Hopefully this one in Cricket Club on Biscayne Bay, and you got that $175,000 assessment. Anyway, I'm a little ticked off about how people have done it recently and the greed factor, and people need to chill out and stop it, okay? Now, the condo owners of the Cricket Club are pretty much screwed because the entire condo inventory in South Florida from the first quarter of 2023 to right now, and we are in the middle of June 2024, has more than doubled. This is the condo inventory only. We are currently at over 18,000 units for sale. And you know, good luck selling your unit. Good luck out there. You got to list it super low. These people are going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars if they decide to sell their unit instead of paying that special assessment, because that was a $30 million project for the entire Cricket Club. $30 million. And then this story goes further into an example of Mr. Rodriguez. This guy liquidated his 401k in order to buy a unit in there. And here's the kicker. He bought it in 2019. I don't know if you know, but since 2019 to today, the prices have absolutely skyrocketed, probably close to 100%. So this unit that he bought for $190,000, you know, he's on a limited budget. He can't afford to make these payments. He can't afford to make these assessments, and not just the special assessment. You better believe that the monthly association fees are also skyrocketing in the Cricket Club. So he said, hey, I gotta sell it. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, he's not the only one. Right now, as of today, there are 40 units for sale out of 220 at the Cricket Club. So he ended up having to liquidate his unit. You wanna hear how much someone bought it for? This is fucking crazy. Well, he listed it at $350,000, which is a huge profit from the $190,000 that he bought it for. Unfortunately, he had to keep reducing and reducing and reducing, and the final buyer picked it up for $110,000. This gentleman, Mr. Rodriguez, lost $80,000, and that's just on the sales price. That's not even including all of the monthly fees that he's been kind of putting in every single month. And now this guy pretty much lost his 401k. Is he going to be able to bounce back? Probably not, because when you're liquidating your 401k, you probably paid a lot of taxes on that 401k, so there's additional money that he ended up losing. And he ended up losing not only the whole tax implication, which they didn't talk about in this article, but he also ended up losing 42% of his original purchase price. It's a very sad story for this gentleman. It's a very sad story for the couple that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But that's not all, because the Cricket Club is set to be just the beginning, okay? This is why it's not over yet. There is a lot more to come. You know, a lot of associations still haven't figured out all the assessments that they're going to have, because the first step is to have an assessment to meet the minimum standards for the new law that got passed in Florida. But after that, there are more assessments to keep up the look of the property. You know, aside from just the mandatory repairs of cracking foundations and windows that are causing leaks, causing further deteriorating damage, there's also things that make the place more attractive so that the people can get out and sell. Because when you're neglecting, you know, structural components, you're most likely also neglecting the aesthetics, right? Things that make it look good. So what do you have to pay attention to if you're thinking about buying? Well, it's all about the reserves, okay? This is something that you should study deeply, and before you buy any condo, get into an understanding of what has been talked about in the minutes of the monthly meetings. This is super important. So it's actually very odd. It's not required to provide monthly minutes of any condo association board if you're thinking about buying. But whenever I'm selling or I'm buying for a client, because I am a realtor in Sarasota, I like to request the last 12 months worth of meeting minutes, because it outlines everything that was talked about. And then you can inquire with the association a little further as to, well, okay, you made a line item here that maybe carport roofs are going to be replaced. What's the status on that? Is it leaning towards a vote soon, or what's happening? Because, you know, maybe the reserves are enough, but maybe the reserves are not enough. So you just want to read into all of that. Then you can get the financial statements, and look, I don't know how to analyze financial statements, and I am like a numbers guy, okay? So I really number crunch a lot of things. Uh-oh, looks like it's starting to rain. I number crunch a lot of things, but I don't know how to read the condo financials. You know, I just was never trained in that, that's all. So you can take those and you can give them to, you know, like a forensic accountant, and see what can they tell you about it. Because the minutes will reveal quite a bit of information to you, and that will help you make a decision which condo complexes are going to be adequate, you know, that are not, most likely are not going to have any kind of special assessment. But if you want to guarantee yourself, okay, I shouldn't say guarantee, because there's no guarantees in life except for taxes and death. So if you want to have a high probability of nothing being specially assessed, then don't buy a condo that goes into the guidelines of this new law. Here's what you're paying attention to. First of all, try to keep the condo to be less than 25 years old, and obviously the younger the better, because once the condo reaches 25 years old, then it's required to have a milestone inspection. That's the structural inspection, basically. The second thing that you can pay attention to is the condo's proximity to the water, the bay, you know? You want it to be more than 3 miles out. This is just a little thing. This is not a huge thing, because most people want to be as close to the water as possible. But another one that's really important, and this is the last one that I'm going to mention, has to do with how many stories there are. So keep it at 2 stories or less. So let me tell you what you should be looking for. You should be looking for townhouses that are less than 2 stories. So don't get one of those 3-story townhouses with 3 levels, right? Next is villas and paired villas. What that means is a building with 2 units combined together. It kind of looks like a duplex, but it's actually a condo that is individually owned, okay? So those are okay. Those are going to help you out. And then the next thing is maybe a condo building that's like a long row where you have upper units and then lower units, and you know, and that's what you're buying. You're buying one of those. But if it has 3 stories or more, then you have to comply with the new law. And that's where the special assessments can punch you in the face.